Hello, welcome everyone. We're so glad to have you join us virtually for this Microsoft Ignite session on building real-time enterprise analytics solutions with Azure Synapse Analytics. I'm Matthew Hicks, and I'll be the moderator for this session. We have a dedicated area for you to ask questions, and we request you to take advantage of it. Keep the session interactive. We have subject matter experts standing by now to answer your questions live, and I'll bring up a few frequently asked questions for the presenter to address in the Q&A portion near the end of the session. Without taking any more time, let me introduce Saveen Reddy to drive us through this session. Saveen, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Matthew. Hello, everyone. My name is Saveen Reddy. In this session, we're going to talk about building real-time analytics solutions with Azure Synapse. Now, I'm going to keep the agenda very simple. I'm going to give you an overview and some key announcements. We're going to spend the majority of the time on demos. Before we get too far, we have an important terminology update to tell you about. We have always described one of the fundamental capabilities of Synapse as Synapse SQL. And we've always said there are two consumption models for it, dedicated and serverless. Now, previously, the resources we assigned to those different consumption models for dedicated were called SQL pools, and for serverless were called SQL on demand. We're making a change they'll be rolling out in about a month. There are new names for these kinds of resources. Instead of SQL pools, we're going to call them dedicated SQL pools. So it's very obvious they're the dedicated consumption model. And for the serverless consumption model, instead of using SQL on demand, we're going to call it serverless SQL pools. It's a very simple terminology change, and it'll make sure everyone's clear on how they're consuming Synapse SQL, either dedicated or serverless. To better understand what we're going to talk about in terms of updates and announcements, we should understand the availability of Synapse. In the Azure portal, you'll see two things that say Azure Synapse Analytics. The first one says Azure Synapse Analytics, formerly DW. This is the generally available Azure Synapse Analytics service. The second thing you'll see is Azure Synapse Analytics Workspaces Preview. This is the public preview that brings together data warehousing, big data, and data integration into a thing called a workspace. Now, let's go through this piece by piece. Let's walk through it step by step. In Azure Synapse Analytics, formerly DW, there's an Azure resource called Dedicated SQL Pools. Now, we have a more expansive resource in the Workspaces preview, which is of course called a workspace. A workspace is a collaboration boundary, it's a security boundary, and it contains other resources. The first things it can contain are any number of dedicated SQL pools. The second thing it can contain is serverless SQL pools. Every workspace comes with a single serverless SQL pool that maps to our distributed T-SQL query service. And finally, you can have any number of Apache Spark pools. Again, we're bringing data warehousing with big data together. And then there are a series of platform components that bring everything into an integrated whole. Pipelines provide data integration, orchestration, and data movement. A shared metadata system makes it easy to share tabular data between SQL and Spark. The entire workspace and all the pools and all the resources are governed by a common security model, making it really easy to manage the system. And then finally, we have a series of connected services that expand the reach of Synapse into other Azure services. Now, once you have a workspace, you need a great UI to use it. And that's why we built Synapse Studio, your one-stop shop for data engineers, to code, to monitor, to manage, to debug, to secure. Now, as I talk about new features that are launching, any features that have to deal with dedicated SQL pools, of course, manifest on both sides of this picture. There are many features that are not related to dedicated SQL pools. SQL Serverless, Apache Spark connected services. Those will manifest only on the right side in Synapse Workspaces. I mentioned that Synapse reaches out to other services. There are three ways we talk about this. There are link services. These are 90 plus connectors that make it easy to do data integration, orchestration, data movement with other services in Azure and on premises and in other clouds. There are enhanced integrations with 3 specific Azure services that make scenarios flow seamlessly between Synapse workspaces and Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, Power BI, and Azure ML. And then finally, Synapse Link, which makes it easy to do analytics with Synapse on operational data in Cosmos DB. Here's a list of some key announcements we're making at Ignite relative to Azure Synapse Analytics. Some of them, as I mentioned before, are available for the generally available service, and some of them are available for the preview service. And the ones in blue are the ones that we're going to demo. Having said that, let's get to the demos. So for our first demo, we'll show you high throughput egress from Azure Stream Analytics to Synapse. There's a brand new connector available, and we're going to achieve 12 gigabytes per minute of throughput from Stream Analytics to Azure Synapse Analytics. So let's get started with this demo. Now I've switched over to my Azure Synapse Analytics workspace. I'm looking at the Develop Hub, and I've already opened up a SQL script. The SQL script does 2 things. It counts the number of records in the table called DW Granular. Remember, that's the table that's getting all the events. And then the second part of the script, compute the difference between 2 counts. So I'm going to run the first part twice. I'll select the first part, which again just counts the number of records in the table. That's a very big number. I'm going to copy it, and I'm just going to paste it into the before value. And then I'll run the script again, and only a few seconds elapsed between the first run and the second. There's another big value. I will copy and paste that. So now I have a before value and an after value, and I'm just going to divide by a million and do a little bit of rounding. That's what this part does. I'll run it. Let's see how many records came in between the 2 runs of the count. Look at that. In a few seconds, this table had 3.37 million records enter it. This is a perfect example of the kind of high throughput you can get from Stream Analytics to Synapse with the new connector. We have a few related announcements to make. For Azure Stream Analytics, we're now announcing the public preview of Managed Service Identity Auth for Synapse. So when talking to either the generally available service or the preview service of Azure Synapse, you can use Managed Service Identities. Second, the public preview of private endpoints for Azure Stream Analytics. And on the Azure Event Hub side, we're now announcing the public preview of the schema registry. This allows schemas to be shared across applications, and it is really great for data governance and operational efficiency. In the second of our demos, we're going to start showing the deep integration between Azure Synapse Analytics and Azure ML. In this demo, we're going to focus on training a model in a Synapse workspace using Apache Spark and a Synapse notebook, and we're going to create a model in the Onyx format, and we're going to take that model and register it in an Azure ML workspace. Now I'm looking again at the Synapse workspace. I've navigated to the Develop Hub, and I've already opened a Synapse notebook. The Synapse notebook is focused on developing a sales forecasting model to help retail store locations plan inventory. I won't go into the details of the training. Instead, I'm going to focus on integration and improvements we made. So, first, all this code trains a model. Once the model is trained, it has to be persisted. Now, normally, what you'd do, as is shown in slide 20, is you'd persist the model in this Onyx format. That's done by this function, convert_sklearn. What we've introduced is a library called Hummingbird. This Hummingbird library generates a model in the Onyx format. And as we'll see after the demo, there are advantages, big advantages, for using the Hummingbird library to generate the model in the Onyx format instead of the previous function. So now that the model is persisted, the next part of the notebook simply connects to the previously linked Azure ML workspace. Then, with this one line at the bottom of this cell, mlflow.registerModel, it will take the model we've trained and then persisted in the Onyx format, and then it will register that in an Azure ML workspace. So this demo is showing two things. Number one, we talked about a new library called Hummingbird. Number two, we've shown the integration between a Synapse workspace and an Azure ML workspace, making it easy to take a model we've trained in Synapse and register it in an Azure ML workspace so that it can be used later for scoring. In the demo, I mentioned something called Hummingbird. I want to spend just a few seconds talking about it again. So Hummingbird is all about faster scoring. Normally what you'd do, you'd use a traditional model, a decision tree, random forest, linear regression, right? Now, what Hummingbird does is it takes that traditional model and converts it to a deep neural network. And that conversion means that even on a standard CPU, you might get a 5x speedup. And for GPUs, you might even achieve 1,000 times speedup for scoring. So that's the importance of Hummingbird and one reason why we've added it to Azure Synapse Analytics. In the previous demo, we trained a model and we registered it in an Azure ML workspace. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to reuse that model in a Synapse workspace, but this time we're going to use the model with a dedicated SQL pool, and we're going to score a table. And what's going to happen in this model is that in that SQL pool, there are two tables. The first table is called DB111 models. It actually stores the binary representation of the model. The second table is called DBO.retail scoring data. It's going to contain the data we want to score. Now the model is in Azure ML workspace. We're going to put that model into DBO.AML models. And then a stored procedure will be created that takes the model and takes the retail scoring data. And when you run the stored procedure, it'll show you this predicted value, the scored value, for every row in the table called retail scoring data. I'm once again back at my Synapse workspace, but this time I'm looking at the data hub. And in the data hub, I'm going to look at a SQL pool called predict pool. Let me expand it right now. And there are two tables, as I mentioned before, that we're going to focus on. DBO.AML models will store the binary representation of the model that's in the Azure ML workspace. And then DBO retail scoring data contains the data that I want to score. So we're going to see how to combine those two together. We'll start by just clicking on the three dots here, and there's a new menu item that's now available on these tables called Machine Learning. And underneath that is an item called Enrich with Existing Model. So the first thing that's going to happen is we're going to pick a model. What you see here is that it's listing an Azure ML workspace that's linked to my account, my Synapse workspace. And there's only one, and it contains all these models. You'll notice that several of them have the same name. They're Synapse Retail Model, but they have different version numbers. I'm going to pick the very earliest one that was trained by my colleague, Nelly. She published it into this Azure ML workspace, and now I am reusing it to score data in a SQL pool. Let me click Continue. And then you can see the feature input mapping is all done for me. I didn't need to write any code. The thing to pay attention to is at the bottom, output mapping. The predicted value will be in a column called quantity. Remember that name because we're going to see it later. I now click Continue. Now, what's going to happen is the code to simplify all this is going to be stored in a stored procedure. That stored procedure is going to take every row that I want to score and then add a column called quantity. That is the predicted value. So let's give this stored procedure a name. I'll call it DBO called predict values. So that's the name of the stored procedure that will be created. And then I need to pick what table will store the model. So I'm going to pick DB111 models. Now I click Deploy Model and Open Script. What's happening now is the model is in an Azure ML workspace. It's being downloaded, and then now it's being downloaded in an ADLS Gen 2 account, and then it's being put into the table called AML models. And then the store procedure is created, as you can see. The store procedure is very simple. Notice that it writes the code for you to use the tsql predict function. So let's go ahead and just run it. And now you can see on these columns are the rows from retail scoring data table, this one, and then it's automatically added the predicted value as the first column. So this is another great example of how Azure Synapse Analytics and Azure Machine Learning Workspaces are deeply integrated. It becomes very easy to take a model someone else has published in an Azure ML workspace and then reuse it in Synapse SQL in a Synapse workspace to do scoring. In our fourth demo, we're going to take a look at some of the new security features in Synapse SQL. This demo is going to cover 3 new capabilities: column level encryption, row level security, and dynamic data masking. I'm once again looking at my Azure Synapse Analytics workspace, and I'm in the Develop Hub, and I've already opened up a SQL script. So we'll explore these 3 new security features. This first script is going to do a count of a table, and the table contains some PII data. And you can see the columns right here. They're very basic information. Let's run this query, and there are 2 queries here. One does the count, one does just a simple select, and see what happens. Now notice at the top, I'm running as user Charles. Okay, so there are 2 queries. Let's take a look at the results of the first one. That was the count. Charles sees just over 4,200 records. Okay, now let's take a look at the results of the second query, which are just selecting rows. Charles can see the first names, the last names, and the states, but notice that the phone column and the email column have these X's in them. So that's dynamic data masking in action. And finally, the third column, SSN encrypted, he cannot see. Let's see what happens when we run the very same queries, but as a different user. In this case, we're going to run them as Priyanka. So, same 2 queries, except again as Priyanka. Okay, let's look at how many rows Priyanka sees. Charles saw 4,200 something. Priyanka sees quite a few less. She sees 2,800. That's row level security in action. Now let's take a look at the columns. We saw that some columns had dynamic data masking for Charles, and he couldn't see all the values. And specifically, he couldn't see the phone or the email. They were masked. But Priyanka can see the values. Now, neither Charles nor Priyanka can see the contents of the SSN encrypted column. That's because it's encrypted, and it requires a key to access. Let's run this query, which then gives us the key, and then we can see the results. Okay, now notice the SSN encrypted value is still there, but now we have access to the decrypted SSN value. So this is a demo of how row-level security, column-level encryption, and dynamic data masking manifest in Synapse SQL. In our 5th demo, we'll show Power Query support in Synapse pipelines. So whereas before we just had data flow in Synapse pipelines, now we also have Power Query. This means it's much easier to prepare and shape data without any code at all, in a way that you'll find very familiar. I'm once again looking at my Azure Synapse Analytics workspace, and this time I've already navigated to the Orchestrate Hub. I'm going to open a pre-existing pipeline called Retail Sales Data Prep. you can see this pipeline has just two activities. The first one is called prep sales data, and the second one is called join sales products. Prep sales data uses Power Query. Let's examine what's going on inside. So, as you can see, we have the data, and as we manipulate the data, it'll be transformed by these steps. There's already a step being applied here, which is called change column type. Let's expand it and take a look. I'll click, and you can see right here, table.transform column types. It's changing a column to int64. Let's try transforming the data some other way. There's a column here called advertising. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to select remove columns. And you can see another step is now applied in the transformation called remove columns. And just as with changing the column type, if I look in this section of the UI, you can see it's saying table.remove column, and it's identifying the advertising column. So those of you who want to have a no-code experience to transform data and are comfortable transforming data in a stepwise fashion in a tabular UI like this will find that Power Query integration in Azure Synapse dramatically boosts your productivity. Our sixth demo is something we're calling the Synapse Studio Knowledge Center. The Knowledge Center will really accelerate developers learning how to use Synapse by providing sample scripts, sample code, and easy access to data from Azure Open Data. Let's take a look. Okay, I'm back in my Synapse workspace, and I'm looking this time at the Home Hub. There are several ways to get to the Knowledge Center. I'm going to show you them all. The first one is on the home page. On the right side, under Useful Links, there's a link called Knowledge Center. Let's click it. The Knowledge Center is now open. The Knowledge Center lets you do three things. First, you can get started in seconds using code and data. That's the first box called Use Samples Immediately. Second, you can explore different samples, code, data, notebooks, SQL scripts, pipelines, etc. And third, you can take a tour of Synapse Studio and see some of the features that are available in the user experience. We're going to focus in this demo on the first two. Since we do want to get started immediately, we'll click the first one, Use Samples Immediately. And these, again, are optimized so that you don't spend any time setting things up, they just run. The fastest of these in terms of getting productive is the middle one, Query Data with SQL. I'll click it, then click Use Sample. It'll create a SQL script. There are many parts of the SQL script. I'll just run the first part. It says select top 100 from open row set, and it specifies a Parquet file that's in a blob storage account. Notice that the script uses serverless Synapse SQL. So I did not have to spin up a pool for this. Let's run it and see what happens. There, the query automatically ran against a Parquet file in blob storage. I didn't have to create a pool. I didn't have to specify the schema. It just worked. Now, let's try another way of using the Knowledge Center. This time, I'm going to show you the other entry point, which is in this question mark here. I can also get to the Knowledge Center from here. And this time, I want to browse code. I'll click here, and you'll notice there are many different kinds of samples. Data sets, and these are all data sets from Azure Open Data, notebooks, SQL scripts, and pipelines. Let's say I'm interested in learning how to use the copy command, since that's now available in a Synapse workspace. I'll click SQL scripts. And then, as I look through here, I can see this example says it uses the copy command, and it loads the New York taxi cab data. Let's click it. And then I press continue. Now it shows me a preview of what the script is going to do. Now I can create a new pool or reuse an existing one that I already have available. In this case, I previously created one, so I'm going to reuse it. So I'll click select an existing pool, and I'm going to select learning pool. and I'll select then Open Script. Now, it just creates a long SQL script, and the script has basically two parts. The first set of SQL statements creates the tables that are going to hold the New York City taxicab data. And then, as I scroll down, you can see that for each table, there's now a copy command that takes data that's in Azure Blob Storage and then puts it into these tables. So it's a great example of getting data into the system so you can play with it, as well as showing you how to use the code to make it all happen. And then finally, there's another optimized way of getting to the sample data. Let's close these. And you can see that I'm in the Data Hub. And I'm going to click Linked. And then I'm going to click on Azure Blob Storage and then Sample Data Sets. These are previously linked data sets that I brought in using the Knowledge Center. Let's bring another one. Now, we've added an optimized way of doing this. Instead of clicking over here or going to the home page, you can click plus right here and browse samples. I'm already on data sets, so let's find one that I haven't used before, which is this NOAA Global Forecast System. I click, I hit continue, and I say add data set. There's no script that's going to be created. And what you'll see in just a few seconds is there'll be a new entry in sample datasets under Azure Blob Storage. And there it is. This GFS is the item I just selected as a sample data. And now, how do I use it? You just click here under Actions. You can create a SQL script. I select top 100 rows, or you can also just start a notebook immediately on it. So we make it very easy for you to pull in sample data and start running code against it to analyze it. The Knowledge Center is going to be a terrific part of getting developers productive on Azure Synapse Analytics.
Thanks, Saveen. Wow, these are some great integrations with other Azure services. Synapse is making some powerful enhancements to its security, and it sounds like the Knowledge Center will really accelerate everyone getting productive on Synapse. So now let's take it to Q&A. As we mentioned at the start of the session, everyone can ask questions in the chat, and we encourage everyone to do so. And our subject matter experts are answering these questions live. Now I'll ask Saveen to cover some of the more frequently asked questions. First one, when can we expect Azure Synapse Analytics to become generally available?
Well, Matthew, that's a very popular question these days. So to make it clear, Azure Synapse Analytics is generally available now. What is not generally available, what is in public preview, is Synapse Workspaces. That's still in public preview. You can still get started with it today. Get an Azure subscription and start playing. We don't have an exact date for general availability of Synapse Workspaces, but you won't be waiting too much longer.
Awesome. I'm sure everyone is looking forward to that. All right, next question. What sort of data can folks use with Azure Synapse?
A great question, and yes, very, very popular question. I usually break this down into two pieces. So it's about the kind of data and the size of data. And what binds my response here is that we're bringing together in Azure Synapse two worlds, the worlds of data warehousing, that's the world of SQL, and the world of big data, and that's the world of Apache Spark. And we get the benefits of both, and we can seamlessly interact between both. So with the kinds of data, basically the answer is anything. So of course, with either SQL or Spark, you can use and consume tabular data in tables, SQL tables and Spark tables. Then of course we have the semi-structured world. This is the world of formats like JSON that are in your Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. So both SQL and Spark can use that. And of course, the world is filled with these commonly used text-delimited formats like comma-separated values and tab-separated values. They're the bread and butter of a lot of big data. And we work with those well with both SQL and Spark and Synapse. What we also see is people expanding the kind of data they actually look at. It's non-traditional. And so how Synapse helps you here is that we're really leveraging the power of our open source integration with Apache Spark. So there are many libraries you can use for Spark that will really enable you to do your analytics on non-traditional formats meaning things that aren't textual and things that aren't tables. So that means a corpus of documents like PDF documents, or images like X-ray images, for example, or stellar cartography, audio processing, video processing. Again, enabled because we brought in the best of the open source world via Apache Spark in the Synapse. As for size, the word we would typically use to describe Azure Synapse is limitless. So in practical terms, what this means is there is no, the smallest sizes work well with Synapse, and we can also scale well into the petabyte scale. So there's nothing stopping you from the small end and the high end.
Wow, that's really great. All right, so we have time for one more question. How do I get started with the service today?
Great. So I've got already something prepared for you to answer this exact type of question. So let's share a couple of links. Of course, we've got free trial accounts, aka.ms/synapse_analytics. Next, we have something new called Analytics in a Day, aka.ms/analyticsias. This is a full-day virtual workshop that will get you started on your journey into building solutions with Azure Synapse Analytics. There's a 90-minute hands-on lab included. This will be invaluable for anyone wanting to get practical skills with Azure Synapse. Because we've had a lot of interest for it, we've also included a link to DataShare, aka.ms/synapse_datashare. Due to time constraints, I did not get a chance to talk about it, but I highly recommend checking it out. And finally, we have the Getting Started Toolkit, aka.ms/get_started_synapse. Download this toolkit. You'll get a collection of technical resources to get started with Synapse and explore its set of capabilities.